in the middle of the Indian Ocean, far from major shipping routes and modern civilization, lies one of the most mysterious islands on Earth, North Sentinel Island. From above, it looks like a tropical paradise. A ring of bright white sand surrounds dense green jungle. North Sentinel Waves crash gently against coral reefs, but nobody is allowed to land. Palm trees sway in the wind for thousands of years, but this island hides something very different from the world we know. Technology, no contact with thousands of years, time never moved forward. The Sentinelese people have lived here completely isolated from modern civilization. Anthropologists believe they may have been on this island for over 60,000 years, making them one of the last truly uncontacted tribes on Earth. They do not use modern technology. They do not speak any known language, and they have no interest in joining the outside world. Satellite images show small clearings inside the jungle where simple shelters stand. Narrow paths weave through the dense forest canopy. Occasionally, small canoes can be seen along the shoreline. These fragile, wooden boats allow the Sentinelese to move through shallow coastal waters and fish near the coral reefs. But beyond these distant observations, very little is known about their daily life. No outsider has ever successfully lived among them. Their language remains completely unknown. Their customs, beliefs, and traditions remain a mystery to the rest of humanity. Over the decades, several attempts have been made to establish peaceful contact. Researchers approached the island with gifts such as coconuts, metal tools, and food. Helicopters once hovered above the jungle canopy, hoping to observe the tribe from a safe distance. But every attempt ended the same way. Arrows. The Sentinelese warriors would appear suddenly on the beach, bows drawn, warning the outsiders to leave immediately. To them, every approaching boat represents danger, and their reaction is not surprising. History has shown that contact between isolated tribes and the outside world often ends in tragedy. Diseases, exploitation, and cultural destruction have wiped out countless indigenous communities across the planet. Perhaps the Sentinelese understand something the modern world forgot long ago. Sometimes the greatest form of survival is staying hidden. Today, the Indian government strictly protects North Sentinel Island. It is illegal for anyone to approach within several kilometers of the shore. The island remains sealed off from the modern world. And deep inside that untouched jungle, the Sentinelese continue living exactly as they have for thousands of years, completely alone. For decades, the outside world watched North Sentinel Island from a distance. Boats passed nearby. Satellites captured images from space. Researchers debated how the Sentinelese lived in complete isolation. But in 2018, something happened that brought the mysterious island back into global headlines. A young American missionary named John Allen Chau made a decision that would change everything. Chau believed it was his mission to reach the Sentinelese people and introduce them to the outside world. Despite knowing the risks, he was determined to make contact with one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. Reaching the island was already illegal. The Indian government had placed strict restrictions on approaching North Sentinel Island to protect the tribe from outside diseases and interference. But Chau secretly arranged for local fishermen to take him close to the island under cover of darkness. In the early morning hours, a small boat approached the coral reefs surrounding the island. From there, Chau used a kayak to paddle toward the shore. As he moved closer, the dense green wall of jungle slowly appeared in front of him. The beach looked empty at first. White sand, gentle waves, and the sound of wind moving through palm trees. Then figures appeared. Sentinelese warriors emerged from the tree line. Some carried bows, others held long spears. They stood silently on the beach watching the approaching stranger. Chau reportedly tried to communicate with them. He called out greetings and attempted to show that he came in peace. At one point, he even offered small gifts, hoping to show friendly intentions. But to the Sentinelese, this stranger represented something else entirely: a threat. Witnesses later reported that arrows were fired toward him as he approached the island. One arrow struck his Bible. Despite the warning, Chau continued trying to approach the tribe. The following day, he attempted to reach the island again. This time, he did not return. Fishermen watching from a distance later saw members of the Sentinelese tribe dragging his body across the beach before disappearing into the jungle. The news quickly spread across the world. The story shocked millions of people and reignited the global debate about isolated tribes and their dangers of outside contact. But in the end, the tragedy reinforced a lesson that anthropologists have repeated for decades. Some cultures survive because they remain untouched. And North Sentinel Island remains one of the last places on Earth where the modern world is still kept away by bows, arrows, and the determination of a people who chose to remain hidden. While the outside world sees North Sentinel Island as a mystery, for the Sentinelese it is simply home. The island provides everything they need to survive. Dense tropical forests cover most of the land, filled with trees, plants, and natural resources that have supported life for thousands of years. The surrounding coral reefs act as a natural barrier, protecting the island from large ships and strong ocean waves. These reefs also provide one of the tribe's most important food sources. The Sentinelese are skilled hunters and gatherers. They fish in the shallow waters near the reef using long wooden spears, carefully crafted bows, and arrows with sharpened tips made from stone or metal collected from shipwrecks that drift close to the island. Unlike deep-sea fishermen, they rarely travel far from the shore. Their narrow wooden canoes are designed to move across shallow water, often pushed or guided by hand rather than paddled far into the open ocean. On land, the jungle provides fruits, roots, and wild animals. The Sentinelese know the island in ways no outsider ever could. Every path through the forest, every freshwater source, and every safe place for shelter has been learned and passed down through generations. Their homes are simple but effective. Some are small huts built from branches and palm leaves, offering protection from rain and sun. Others appear to be larger communal shelters where several members of the tribe may gather together. Little is known about their language, traditions, or beliefs. Their words have never been recorded or understood by outsiders. Even nearby tribes in the Andaman Islands cannot communicate with them. Yet despite this mystery, brief distant observations have revealed something important. The Sentinelese appear healthy and strong. They move confidently through their environment and show clear signs of social cooperation. When outsiders approach, they organize quickly to defend their territory, suggesting a structured and coordinated community. For them, the island is not isolation. It is protection. For thousands of years, the Sentinelese have survived storms, changing oceans, and the passing of empires far beyond their shores. While the modern world built cities, invented machines, and connected continents through technology, life on North Sentinel Island continued almost unchanged. And deep within that untouched jungle, the Sentinelese still live as they always have, connected to the land, the sea, and a way of life that the outside world can only observe from afar. For the modern world, North Sentinel Island is one of the last great mysteries on Earth, a place that satellites can photograph, but humans cannot enter, a society that exists in the present day, yet lives in a way that belongs to humanity's distant past. Today, the Indian government strictly protects the island. A safety zone of several kilometers surrounds North Sentinel, and approaching it is illegal. Patrol boats occasionally monitor the area to ensure that fishermen, tourists, or curious explorers stay far away from its shores. This protection serves two purposes. First, it protects the Sentinelese from the outside world. Because the tribe has lived in isolation for thousands of years, they have no immunity to many common diseases. Even a simple cold or flu brought by a visitor could potentially devastate their entire population. Second, it protects the outside world from repeating the mistakes of the past. Throughout history, contact between isolated tribes and modern civilization has often ended in tragedy. Diseases spread rapidly. Traditional cultures collapsed under pressure from outside influence. Entire communities disappeared within a single generation. North Sentinel Island stands as one of the few remaining places where this cycle has been prevented. From time to time, modern technology offers brief glimpses into life on the island. Satellites capture images of small huts, narrow forest paths, and figures walking along the beaches. Occasionally, fishermen passing too close to the island report seeing Sentinelese warriors standing silently on the shore, watching the horizon. But beyond those distant observations, the island keeps its secrets. What stories are passed down around their fires? What language do they speak deep within the jungle? What traditions have survived unchanged for thousands of years? No one outside the island truly knows. Perhaps that is exactly how the Sentinelese want it. In a world where almost every corner of the planet has been mapped, explored, and connected, North Sentinel Island remains something rare, a place where the modern world stops at the shoreline. And beyond that line, life continues exactly as it has for thousands of years, unseen, untouched, and fiercely protected by the people who call the island home.